All right, today we're going to unpack two of the most powerful ancient poems you'll ever come across, Psalms 111 and 145. And these aren't just, dusty old texts. They are these incredible, masterfully crafted songs. We're going to explore their brilliant structure to really get what they're trying to say.
And really, this one line is what it's all about. It's an invitation, and it sets the tone for everything we're about to talk about. The poet is saying that God's works aren't just things to glance at. They're designed to be pondered, to be chewed on, to be deeply considered. It's basically a call to get curious, to start this joyful investigation.
So, what exactly are we looking at here? Well, these two psalms are what's known as acrostic poems. That means each line or stanza starts with the next letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And this wasn't just some clever literary trick, it was a way to create a full, comprehensive A to Z hymn, a song that a whole community could sing together to declare something really profound and complete. When you really boil them down, both of these psalms are built to answer one huge fundamental question. Why? Why should anyone praise God? And what's so cool is that they both land on the exact same two-part answer. First, you praise God for what he does. And second, you praise God for who he is. So let's start with that first part. The first pillar of praise in these poems is all about action. The psalmist isn't getting all philosophical here. No, they're pointing to real, tangible, observable events, what the text calls God's mighty works, things like providing food for the hungry or rescuing people who are in trouble. And this is huge. The emphasis here is all about memory and storytelling. The verse says, "One generation commends your works to another." See, these works were never meant to be forgotten. The whole idea of praise is built on passing these stories down, parent to child, to make sure the memory of these mighty acts stays alive. It's a living tradition. And what are these works exactly? The Psalms give us a whole list, like a catalog of deeds. We see God providing food, rescuing those who are falling, lifting up the oppressed. The poet even brings up specific historical events, like giving land and redeeming his people. It's basically a resume of divine action, covering everything from daily needs to national salvation. But the Psalms don't just stop there. I mean, an action is only as good as the character behind it, right? So this brings us to the second big reason for praise, the very nature of God himself. The focus shifts from the hands of God to the heart of God. And wow, this slide just nails the core of that character. Look at the parallel here. It's almost the exact same phrasing in two totally different psalms. You've got to understand, this is the ancient equivalent of bolding and underlining a phrase. The writers are making it crystal clear that the number one defining attribute worth praising is that God is fundamentally gracious and compassionate. And it doesn't stop with compassion. The poems list off all these other core traits. God is described as righteous, faithful in everything he does, just, trustworthy in his promises, and good to all. This consistent, reliable character is the bedrock that all those mighty works we just saw are built on. It's the foundation of the whole thing. So what is it that ties God's actions and his character together? It's this one incredibly powerful word, covenant. Psalm 111 says God remembers his covenant forever. Now, this isn't just a simple promise. It's a binding, unbreakable, eternal agreement. It's the ultimate proof of his trustworthy character, guaranteeing that his actions will always be faithful. Okay, so we've seen the two big reasons for praise, God's works and God's character. But what are we supposed to do with that information? Well, the Psalms are really clear that the right response is an active one. It's not just about feeling something, it's about doing something. Psalm 145 actually lays out this really practical three-step process. It starts on the inside, with meditation, just pondering and thinking deeply. But it doesn't stay there. It has to move outward to proclamation, to speaking and telling others about these deeds. And finally, it becomes communal. It becomes generational, as people commend and pass these stories on. It's this amazing cycle of reflection, declaration, and tradition. Now, holding all of this together is a concept called the fear of the Lord. And it's so important we get this right. This has nothing to do with being terrified. It's all about a profound sense of awe and reverence. You know that feeling when you're standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon, or you look up at a perfectly clear sky full of stars? It's that feeling, a recognition of something vast and powerful and holy that just leaves you speechless. So where does all this lead? I mean, what's the ultimate outcome of this awe-filled reverence and this act of praise?
Well, according to these ancient poets, it leads to something incredibly powerful.
Here it is, right on the screen. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The ultimate result is wisdom. The psalmist flat out connects that sense of awe with the beginning of true understanding. It tells us that wisdom isn't just about collecting facts. It's about having the right perspective on who God is and who you are in relation to him. And get this response, born from wisdom, it isn't some fleeting thing. Both psalms end on this incredibly powerful note of permanence. This praise will last forever and ever. It will endure through all generations. The goal is to create something as eternal as the God being praised. An unending chorus that echoes through time, a song that just never fades away. So we're left with this beautiful, ancient model. Praise isn't just an emotional feeling, it's a thoughtful response to two things: what has been done and who someone fundamentally is. It's this timeless blueprint that kind of leaves us with one last question to ponder. If we took this two-part model and applied it to our own lives today, what would we praise and why?